Well, before I do any, design changes, I thought what I'd do is sand this down, this part here, because that's where this head of this sort of button will rub against, because it is a little bit rough. Just sand it down, make it as smooth as I can. I'm using like a cardboard type nail file here, which I've trimmed down so that it'll fit in here. Then I'm just going like this, maybe turn it round every so often. So I'm going to continue on like that, making this part here, which this button like rubs against. That's why it's sticking a bit smoother. That's all I'm basically going to do. I think there is a bit of a bump there, you might see that line there. I'll continue on doing this, and I'll probably come back and see how well it does. So I'm not here trying to make this thinner, I'm just trying to make it as smooth as possible so that there's less friction for this button head and where the top of this button that you press down to rub against. I was thinking about putting some pegs on here and only allowing it to come up as it comes along, but that's going to cause friction anyway. Let me try this first. Obviously a stronger spring will probably do it, but I want to try this first. Well, I've done that, but it's still sticking. So I've loosened off this top so that it's not pressing against this like button top so much, and it's still a bit, I can hear it like grating there. Don't know if you can hear that. So it's almost as if it's sticking somewhere else. I'm going to investigate this and try and find out if it is sticking somewhere else, and maybe sand that down, file that down, whatever, and see if that helps. Obviously some grease and oil on, but I don't want too much grease and oil on this button because you're going to be pressing it and you don't want grease and oil on your fingers. Well, after sanding that a little bit, and the top part of this, it's not much better, not really. It can still stick. See if the ratchet goes on there, once I push that pawl up a bit, but it can still stick like that. I've tried stretching the spring a bit, and I've also tried making this sort of push plate that the spring goes against just that little bit smaller so that there's no way it should catch on any parts. But doing all of that hasn't helped. So what I'm going to try is some of this. This is Holt's grinding paste. I've had this quite a few years, and this is like a double-sided tin. One side, open this end, fine grinding paste, and open this end for coarse grinding paste. I'm going to try the coarse first. So I'll open up that, and I'm going to open up this, spread some round, well, all round here, the pawl, move it backwards and forwards quite a few times to sort of try and get the grind in a bit. And then I'll clean that off, and then I'll come back. Well, I might show you that actually. So let me open up this. This is the coarse side. There we are. So that only goes about halfway down, presumably the fine side. Well, I'll open up the fine side to show you. I don't know if I'll be using the fine side, and that's supposed to be the fine side. You see there's quite a bit of fine side like of the paste left compared with the coarse side. Don't want to get the lids mixed up, because then you'll get the wrong paste out. Right, I'll open up this and I'll spread some, using this thingy screwdriver on. So So there's a spring. I'll stretch it a little bit more. Open that and put a bit more pressure on. As I say, this push plate here is a bit smaller to try and stop that scraping on any edges. Actually, I'll put that back on, and I'm basically going to just spread, using this flat bladed screwdriver, some of this. It's just sliding all over. Spread some of this coarse grinding paste. Spread it on there. Sometimes PLA can be a little bit rough. I mean, this isn't too rough, to be honest with you, I don't think. Spread some on like that on here, on the lid part, the top part. And spread some particularly over there, or pour a little bit on the back there, and get a bit on the front of this here. Then I'll spread some on the actual pawl, round the pawl, where I think it's going to be needed, which is like the edges, bottom. This side. So I don't know what, if it says what this grinding paste is made out of. I would imagine some sort of graphite and whatever. Not your modern day graphite or whatever. Put that in there, get a bit dirty. Got a wipe here. Let's actually see if it says on the tin. Does it say anything on the tin? It says directions. Okay, put the balls in here. As you know, squeeze out a bit. Basically now, whack it back and forth a few times. There's a spring on here. So I'm going to push with this screw there. Push it on. I'm swinging the balls over and it's 2 baby balls. I've got a case on like this. Just continue on doing this a few times. So I'm trying to grind. This is the smoke, the fine side, and it says fine proportion. Goes for resets and faces. I think that's supposed to say. Odds, grind it is. Do when you can. Let's see that this one more time. So I don't know if you can get it more. Well, I'm going to back over. Maybe try and stand it if you want. Don't even try what's inside so I can see. Just continue on. Watch this back and forth quite a few times. Well, I've been like pushing this forwards and backwards a bit, so it's pretty looser now, and sometimes I've been using a screwdriver in here to push it forward when it's been sticking quite a bit. It's not so bad now, and that is with this gunge on it. That's mainly the part I wanted, because the ratchet here on the wheel, that sort of thing that turns, will be pushing this up and down, but not so far as to lock it. It's only when you pull it, which can I do. I haven't got the button on, so I'm making it hard. Well, I can push it, that's for sure. Oh, I think this has gone down a bit, but I think it's because it's gummed up with this grease. Right, I intend to clean this up. I'll probably use some eyes. It does say use petrol actually, I think, somewhere on it. Clean with paraffin or petrol. I'm not going to use paraffin or petrol. I think that's very inflammable or flammable. I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol. I'll probably wipe most of it off using a cloth. I think I'll work on this part here that's on the front plate I did have a bit of a dent there, but that's gone so thin, this part here, that's been damaged a bit there, but I can probably improve that by thickening it up on the inside. See some of the sort of graphite grease there. I'll clean this up, then I'll come back and show you. I think when it's cleaned up it should work even better, so to speak, because the graphite grease will be like resisting it a bit. Right, I've took those balls out. I thought I'd show you it. See how, which has got this sort of graphite grease stuff. I'm going to call it graphite grease. It doesn't say that's what it is. It just says grinding paste. All over the place. So I'll scrape most of this off using a screwdriver and wipe it on a rag. Then I'll clean it off with some isopropyl alcohol. I'll probably do that off camera unless I got something maybe a bit more interesting to show you. Well, there you are. I've cleaned it. I was using some cotton buds dipped in the isopropyl alcohol, which I've got here in this sort of bowl, hamster feeding bowl I think it is, and going around inside here wiping some bits off with a cloth, digging other bits out with a screwdriver, putting a screwdriver blade in with the cloth on and trying to clean it up. It's still not perfectly clean, as you might see. See a bit of grubbiness in there. Some parts of it are turning white, especially this pawl part here. Let's get a little bit out of there. The point on this screwdriver, flat bladed, a small one, about 1.5mm I think that is, says on there. Okay, yeah, it's gone white in quite a few parts. Still a bit of this graphite grease on here. But this is only prototyping, it's only to get an idea. So there's that part. So there, here's this part. This part was being damaged a bit because that was quite thin there. What I had was hoping to have a dent in here. Well, I will have a dent in here, just like an indent to help get your finger or thumb in when you're pressing the button. That will go in here. But what I'll do is I'll thicken it on this side. That should be okay. But that's part of prototyping, to find out these things. So that would be another improvement, slight improvement. Oh, I don't know how clear this isopropyl alcohol is. Don't want to pour it back in the bottle. Okay, I'll put this back together. I might probably put a big lithium grease on this when I put it back together. Alright. Well, I've put some of this lithium grease on. I haven't got much of this left actually. Long life FM. So it's supposed to be PTFE, whatever it is, type grease. Just spread a thin layer around most of it. And now this does spin backwards and forwards, which is what I want. Just a spin like this. So when the ratchet in here is like clicking around, actually when you turn it that way, this clicks up and down. But when you pull I haven't got a knob on here, so it makes it very hard for me to pull. But when you pull it all the way to start off, it pulls out the way, and then it'll start up until you release it. I think this is still, I don't know, maybe not, sticking a bit, I was going to say. I think this is pressed in a bit, this knob, this button it's actually gone down. I'm using PLA here, probably not the best, not really the best plastic for like a spring mechanism, which I have here, the concertina spring. This needs sorting out. I mainly got damaged when I was using a screwdriver to push this forward a bit to get that graphite grease wound in. But I think maybe a bit more tweaking, a bit better plastic, ABS maybe better. I think ABS is said to be springier than PLA. I'll have to check that out. And that can go quite far into there before it clicks. Make sure it's not going to accidentally click on it when I put the mechanism in here, which I haven't got at hand, I don't think. Or have I? Let me have a look. Right, I've put it all together, a bit rough and ready to a certain extent, and I'll show you it. So we wind up this way. Make sure this button has been pressed. See, that button hasn't been pressed. That's not clicking. You see that it does click backwards and forwards, so that moves, but that button has been pressed in. This is PLA. Concertina spring is on that pawl that's in there. I'll have to look into getting a better type of filament, I think, for that, so I can wind it up. Quite often I'll tear the body. And then when I pull the lever, see, that should lock. See, that has actually locked in there, but sometimes at the moment, see there, it's so, because that button isn't spinning all the way up as I would hope. It's been pushed down and now it's a bit dubious. Sometimes it's alright, but the idea there is that that latch is on so that as this is spinning, the teeth on here don't bang against the teeth of the pawl, because I found that that would break the teeth of the pawl or the ratchet off. And I think that was even when it was printed at 100%, if I remember right. So the basic idea here is you wind it up. This is a proper diesel engine sort of starter rubber thing here, this yellow part. You take that out or put it in, wind it up, put it on the diesel engine, pull the lever, see, that's gone back in, and that should start the diesel engine up, model diesel engine. So I'm going to sort out this as well. That should be almost joined onto there, just because I've been mucking about with the printing. And I'll sort out this indent here. This spring, I'll have to look up to see if there's a better type of plastic I can use. I'll just show you that once more, so you can see that the ratchet does make the button move up and down. Wind it up quite a bit. It's very powerful, this, if you wind it up a lot. I don't know if I dare wind it up too much. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep. That's certainly better. That idea is pretty good, except for this concertina spring being made out of, presumably being made out of PLA. It's got bent down. That happened when I was cleaning it. I was like pushing this forward with a flat bladed screwdriver to move it backwards and forwards, and it's been pressed down and it's got stuck in that position. I tried bending it back up, but that hasn't been too successful. There's an option to maybe bend it back up and then nail it in that position. Anyway, there's a look at it.